All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Schwartz with Beck's Hybrids. With me today, Chad Kaler. Chad is field agronomist for Beck's in north central Illinois, Champaign, Bloomington, that area. Chad, tell us a little bit about harvest progress in the area that you're covering.
Yeah, Jim, across the area that I cover, harvest has been happening for about 3 weeks now, and it feels like we're about in the middle of harvest, really. And I feel like going back to last year, at this time a year ago, we were pretty much wrapping up with harvest, and now we're kind of more in the middle of harvest this year in 2019, which is pretty much a reflection of just our delay in planting date and guys waiting for the crop to dry down a little bit more.
Well, if you did experience a delay in planting date and you had cold temperatures over the weekend like a lot of us, did that impact the crop if there's crop still out to be harvested?
We did have a little bit of an effect, mainly on the bean crop that was planted late that had not dropped or matured its leaves yet. We did have lows of pretty much around a 31 to 32 degree temperature across east central Illinois for the most part. And so we didn't have a killing freeze, but we did have a heavy frost on Friday evening, Saturday morning. So it did impact the bean crop a little bit more than the corn crop. Most of the corn crop across the territory has already black layered and is just waiting to dry down a little bit more. But the bean crop, for those that planted really late on the beans, it did affect that bean crop a little bit more.
So, Chad, in your area, what kind of yield levels are you seeing? Corn and beans both. What are the numbers telling you?
Yeah, so before I go into that, I just want to say, probably the biggest common theme or the word of the year or the word of the fall would be variability. It's been a long time since we've seen the amount of variability that we're seeing this year, even within the same field. So our yield ranges on whole field averages on corn are anywhere from as low as 140 up to 260. And that's a huge range for whole field yield averages. But the other part of that is, even within a given field, we have large swings in yield and moisture. So 100 bushel yield swings in a field, if it has any variability at all, we're seeing it. And on the bean side, the range is generally about 40 on the low side to about 80 on the high side. A lot of that 55 to 65 bushel range. There are some reports in some areas that just didn't get much rain the last 2 months of the growing season that are lower than that 40 bushel range. But in general, that 40 to 80 is catching most of it.
Is the source of the variability too much rain early, too little rain late, or just both?
Well, you hit it right on the head, Jim. It's too much rain early because we did have a delayed planting, which definitely shortened our growing season for both corn and beans. But the not enough rain late, that definitely impacted both crops. For those areas that remained dry, we definitely saw lower yields from those areas that just didn't get any rain for grain fill.
Fantastic. With me today, Chad Kaler, Chad field agronomist for Beck's in East Central Illinois. Chad, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate the feedback.
Okay, thank you, Jim.